Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a 3000 GT front mount intercooler install. I think the car's gonna look extremely aggressive, and I went ahead and got the full kit. This includes piping, the clamps, the couplers, and of course we ended up going with the dual core. So there's not too many videos when it comes to the install of these, so I will make it more towards the install side and show you guys how I did it. Of course, we already know the car is running a little bit weird. We just cleaned out the injectors and checked the gap on the spark plugs, and the car is still running a little bit weird. It finally threw a check engine light, so we will be checking that in a little bit to see if that gives us any hints. I'm pretty excited. This is a mod that I've been wanting to do for a very long time because these just look so good on any car. It makes it look so aggressive, and I can't wait. So I'm gonna start off by taking off the front bumper. From there, I'll kind of tell you guys the first step towards taking off the stock piping. We're gonna have to mount the front mount right here. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to delete the fog lights, and of course we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the OEM side mounts as well. So once you have access to that, you're all set. Valve cover is looking a lot better since last time. Before I do pull the battery, I do want to check the code, and when it comes to the piping, it comes out from the throttle body, two different hoses. This one comes all the way down, which I'm assuming it goes down towards that side, and I'm assuming this side goes towards that side. So it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit finicky, but I know that's a piping for the rear turbo, so I'm gonna have to figure it out. PO0155 O2 sensor, bang 2 sensor 1. Alright, so I went ahead and took off most of the piping. It just comes down to a bunch of Phillips screwdriver bolts and 10mm and 12mm. You kind of just have to figure out the routing. This side to take off the side mount intercooler isn't too hard, but the other side you're going to have to go ahead and remove the oil cooler to give you access to be able to remove it. I haven't removed the fog lights just yet, so I'm assuming it's just a bunch of little bolts around here, and we'll take those off to be able to fit the front mount coming out the bumper. Now what we're gonna do is basically mock it up. We're not gonna tighten anything at all just yet, and once everything fits, then we'll go ahead and tighten all the clamps. Fog lights are off. All you have to do is take off 2 bolts on the bracket here, and they should pop right out. Right now we're gonna focus on mounting the dual core on the car. I'm not sure if you have to remove what looks to look like the reservoir. I'm not sure about all this, but we'll mock that up, and then we'll start mocking up the intercooler piping up here. Boom, there it is. Alrighty, so the bracket for the front mount is on. You have to line it up. You do have to bend this portion of the bracket. For some reason they didn't include the hardware, so we had to kind of mock something up. And you are going to have to drill 2 holes. This is where we did them, and just make sure that everything's lined up. Of course, you don't want to tighten everything just yet. I'm starting to figure out the piping setup up here, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to remove this emissions evap canister, because if I do, I don't want to plug that back up. I'm going to give you guys a quick update. This side of the fan actually had to come out, and we actually had to delete the evap canister because it was in the way of the piping on this side. So I pretty much mocked that side pretty easily. It just comes down to putting this pipe down here and the rest of the piping here. So once you just start deleting the evap, you have to start capping off a bunch of stuff. So I don't really know how all this is going to end up, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish this all off, and once it's done I'll get back to you guys. So we're currently running into some fitment issues with the piping. For one, the blowout valve recirculation hose is not long enough to fit into this pipe. Of course the evap canister is all off, so there's a couple miscellaneous lines that are pretty much missing. And the J pipe is right here, and we're having a lot of issues with this pipe as far as fitment goes. And it is finally finished. We did have to trim the bumper just to fit the intercooler piping, and the front bumper was actually really hard to put on. But I'm gonna go ahead and drive this home. I'm too tired, and I'm ready to go home, so I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright, so it's currently the following day. That install took us the whole day to do. So starting off, the bung here for the recirculation hose and the blowout valve should have been probably welded a little bit lower because the OEM hose didn't actually reach. So right now we're actually venting to atmosphere until I get the proper size for that hose. Besides that, I had to turn the intake around because it was actually hitting. I wasn't able to put it down there, and I did have to remove the reservoir tank. I already went ahead and ordered another one, an aftermarket one, but we're currently on a water bottle so we don't spill coolant everywhere. Besides that, the clamp and couplers aren't the best quality. The piping is decent. It does rub on this side right here, so I don't know if that'll cause issues in the future, and it doesn't really line up. So we didn't even tighten anything down. We kind of mocked everything up, and once everything was set in place, we went ahead and tightened everything. Besides that, you do have to remove the front fan, and you do have to delete your evap canister. So if you have to do with emissions, this will pretty much, you know, get rid of all that, which will then cause a bunch of other lines to be disconnected. And unfortunately, I wasn't really able to record the drive back home. It was already like 11 at night. But as far as how the car is driving, The car is driving somewhat decent. It still has the issue, but fortunately a check engine light finally popped up, and it's actually the O2 sensor, which we'll go ahead and end up replacing once we take off the downpipe. For the following episode, I do plan on replacing both the downpipe and that faulty O2 sensor, and hopefully the car sounds both a lot better and it runs back to normal. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do the smoke test because the shop next door actually had a tester, and of course it took us all day to do this, so we didn't really have time. So when I do the vacuum line delete on this thing, we'll go ahead and smoke test it, boost leak test it, and make sure that everything's good. But at least we have the check engine light that finally came up. It's a huge step forward. I'm actually pretty happy. This thing does look gnarly with a dual core. But that's pretty much it for the install on the VR4. It's getting super hot out here in California. It's already summer, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, write it down in the comments. Besides that, I hope you guys are enjoying this VR4 content. It's coming along pretty well now that we're focusing on the engine bay and the maintenance aspect of it. But as far as that goes, I'll go ahead and end the video here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.